stop saying how are you. There are lots of other ways you can say it, and there's lots of other things you can say. And the more that you use, the better your English will sound. So let's dive in. So I'm Dan, your English teacher, and today we're going to look at these alternative ways to say how are you or how are you doing. So let's look at them. I'm going to show you everything on the board, and then I'm going to talk you through the pronunciation, and then I'm going to talk you through some informal ways of saying things and some examples as well. Okay, so we'll get a chance to kind of have the whole package. So here we have the first one, and this one is how's it going? Now this is one of my favorites because people, especially English people, we always say, how's it going, mate? How's it going? We say it quite fast. We usually put mate on the end sometimes, but it's nice and it's informal. So the phrase is ideal for informal situations, and we can say things like, hey Mark, how's it going? Or like I said, how's it going, mate? Because you can say this in any situation with also people you don't know very well. It doesn't have to be your friend to say mate. Okay, so not bad, thanks, you. That's what he will probably say back to you, or what the person will say back to you. So let's just have a look at this. We use this ow sound on how, so how's it going? And actually we don't shorten this. We say how. How's it going? We don't lose this sound when we say it. So just be careful when you're saying it not to do this. So how's it going? How's it going? Nice and fast. So let me just show you how you might write this. So how's it going? And then you might say, mate. How's it going, mate? Because that will then move to here. How's it going, mate? It's a nice and easy way of saying, hi, how are you doing? Without saying how you doing. All right, the next one is what's up? Now, the Americans use this, but the British use it as well. We use it all the time, in fact. What's up, mate? How you doing? You see, I've used this mate again. So, what's up? Hey, Sarah, what's up? And then your answer might be, oh, not much, just relaxing. And have a look at this, relax, sound, relaxing. And again, we don't lose these vowel sounds in this, just relaxing. It's kind of sounds, it flows like this. Okay, so yeah, hey, Sarah, what's up? And also, you can even say what I said last time. You can say, instead of using this, you can say, what's up, mate? What's up, mate? What's up, mate? And then that becomes the question, okay? So make sure that you kind of come up with these different things when you're using the English language, but you don't have to worry too much about getting absolutely perfectly right, because it'll be natural. And when you're natural, you sound like you know what you're saying. And that's what you want to do, right? Okay, number 3, the next one is how are things? Now, this is something that you might not use always in an informal situation. It's actually it can be used by many age groups and in many different situations. How are things? You see, it doesn't only sound informal, it can actually sound quite polite as well. So it's a nice thing to use when you're not sure what to use. So how are things? Remember, you've got this thing sound at the end. Okay, so it's similar to the continuous form. Examples of what people might say back to you. I haven't seen you in ages. How are things? Pretty good. Just busy with work, or not bad. What we say in English, we say a lot. We say, oh, not bad. This is very British, actually. And not bad actually means really good. Because actually, not bad is a British way of saying everything's absolutely perfect. But I think the Americans might be a little bit more positive. They might go, yeah, great, everything's cool, pretty good. But the British are a little bit more, I don't know, pessimistic maybe, I'm not sure. Okay, so just check the pronunciation, make sure you understand this, practice these, and see if you can use them. Let's look at the next one. Okay, number 4 is one that you might use when you haven't seen somebody for a bit. So, how have you been? And have, it means how have you. So we can write that just write it like this. So how have you been? So it's like a shortened version. How have you been? And actually, many people actually use the longer version as well. So it's not necessarily important to shorten it. You don't have to. But when people speak fast, it generally happens, okay? So how have you been? Remember, this is this ow sound. How again, we don't lose it when we use this. Even when we shorten it, we don't lose this. It doesn't go hoof. You don't do this. It's always have, okay? It's been a while. So this is you telling the person that it's been a long time. So a while can mean also a long time. A long time. So it's been a long time. it's been a while. It means it's taken time for us to see each other. How have you been? Okay, nice question to what you'd use. I've been great, just back from holiday. So usually you'd come up with saying something like, I've been great, or yeah, all good. It doesn't really matter how you answer. You don't have to use the same form. You can use different ones. You could just say maybe this. Yeah, great. And it doesn't matter really. You can say, yeah, I've been great, or yeah, not so bad. Again, like the British use. Okay, so we've just had a look at some of the casual alternatives to saying, how are you? But these are some more polite alternatives. Now, I did mention that one or two of the other ones were polite or can be used in polite situations, but they're not considered polite as such. So these are, okay, so these are the ones that if you're in a polite and formal situation, you should be using. So number one, how are you doing today? Now this is kind of an American way of saying something, but I've heard British people use this as well. But it's usually said quite fast. How are you doing today? So make sure that you practice saying it in a fast way. So how are you doing today? And it kind of flows. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Can you see how it goes? You kind of miss, this kind of goes into each other. How are you doing today? Practice it. How are you doing today? Go on. Okay, not bad. Okay, so today we've got this schwa sound. If you haven't heard of it before, it's the sound. It's what replaces things when we don't stress that part of the word. So today, you've still got the A sound, but the T, the to, is actually today, because we're stressing the second part of the word, okay? So you would say, if we're going to stress it like that, you'd say it was today. All right. Good morning, Mr. Smith. This is your example. Good morning, Mr. Smith. How are you today? Or how are you doing today? How are you doing today? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. See, he also or she will come back with a nice positive and nice polite way of saying, of replying to you as well. So you don't, once you set up a nice formal gesture, you will get probably a nice polite and formal answer back. So number two on the more formal ways of replacing how are you is how have you been lately? Now you might notice that we've used quite a lot of this present perfect form. And it's because we're talking about, when we use, especially when we use the word lately, we're talking about the time from a time in the past up to now. And we're also saying that how you are now is relevant to how you have been. So from this past point up until now. So this is actually a very good way of seeing how the present perfect works, because it's always about something in the past that's affecting you now. So this is like a perfect example of why we say it, why we use it. So how have you been lately? Let's just look at this. You've got this A sound, A, and then the Y is the E. So it causes this E lately sound. So it's been a while since our last meeting. Remember, we have this a while again. Remember what that was, what I said last time? A long time, or a fairly long time. So it's been a while since our last meeting. How have you been lately? Okay, so you're asking somebody how they have been in the last few weeks, months, days, or whatever, and how it affects them now. So I've been well. Again, we're using the present perfect. Thank you. How about yourself? And a nice bit at the end there to kind of put it back onto the person. So if somebody says this to you, you can answer, I've been well, everything's been okay. And then you can reply to them with a nice turning it around and saying, how about yourself? Or how about you? Doesn't have to be yourself, it can be just you. Okay? Okay, number three is I hope. Now, we use hope mainly in emails actually. So I hope this email finds you well. Or I hope you're okay. And it's a nice polite way of just saying, I'm caring about how you are and how you've been. Okay, so I hope you're doing well. And again, you see it's not actually a question because it's usually put in a statement context within an email, or if you're meeting face to face, you might say, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. You know, you might add it on to the how you're doing. Okay, so I hope you're doing well. This is hope, the O sound. And we can put it into an example here. So, hi Emily, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to discuss the upcoming project. And how do you think this person might answer if I say, hope you're doing well? You'll probably just say something very short, like, oh yeah, great, thanks. So we might just say like, great, thanks, or thank you. Great, thanks, or great, thank you, or very well, if you want to be more polite. Very well, thank you. Okay, so I hope you're doing well. Yeah, very well, thank you. It doesn't sound like it's an answer, but it actually is what people say to this. Because you're not asking a question really, but you're just giving someone an example, you're giving someone a chance to say, yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. Nice, it's very polite. So number 4 is something that might come up slightly later in the conversation. So you've already said how you're doing, or how's it going, and this person has said, yeah, okay, not so bad. And then you say, is everything going well? So this is usually maybe 1 or 2 steps into the conversation. Because to start with this, it might be a little bit too quick and a bit too forward. So is everything going well might come just after you've said, how are you? How are things? But of course, we're avoiding how are you, of course. And so just make sure you don't say that. Okay, so yes, good afternoon. Is everything going well with the project? So better in context, you see. When it's got a context, you've already said the good afternoon. You've already maybe had an answer from that. Then you can say, is everything going well with the project? So is everything going well? Everything. So you've got the thing sound and every. Every. Now remember, everything is a word that no matter how we say it, we always say all of the vowel sounds. You don't say everything. Sometimes people do, but it's local accent thing. If you want to say it correctly, it has to be everything. Everything. There's always this E sound. Okay, so yes, everything's on track. Thank you. Thank you for asking. On track means it's going as it should. Okay, things are going as they should. It's on track, like a train on the track. It's going right. It's going in the direction I want. Okay, so the next few we're looking at is alternatives for a given context. So like when you're talking about a specific thing, and then you mention it within the question, okay? So for example here, instead of saying, how are you doing or how's it going, you will say, how is your day going? So you're saying today, this day, how is this day going? So how's your day going? Pronunciation-wise, a day. Hi Sam, how's your day going? Answer might be, it's going well, thanks. Busy but good. This is a nice thing to say, especially if you're in a business context. Everyone wants to be busy but good, okay? So how's your day going? Busy but good. You can also say, yeah, it's quite stressful, or maybe it's been a long day, but it's just, at least we're keeping it within the context of today or the day. All right, we'll look at a few more examples. So number 2 is talking about life. How's life treating you? Again, the context of that person's life. How's life treating you? And treat, we have this E, treat, to treat someone, to treat something. Okay, how's life treating you these days? You can put this on the end. Or you can say, how's life treating you at the moment? Doesn't have to be these days, can be all sorts of things. At the moment. And at the moment means kind of now. So how's life treating you at the moment? How's life treating you these days? So again, this is your context. We can say, yeah, not too bad. Remember what I said about this? Not too bad, the British way of doing it. Just dealing with the usual stresses. Okay? Not too bad will always mean quite good. Okay, so if you want to say to somebody that you've had a bad day, you just say, not great. So remember, not too bad is good, not great is bad. All right? There's your bit of lesson about British English. So the next one will be, what have you been up to? So this, for example, is since I saw you last, or in the last few days, but you're saying, what have you been up to, meaning what have you been doing? So to be up to something is to be doing something. What have you been doing? What have you been up to? So we can say doing. There you go. So what have you been doing? What have you been up to? Means the same thing. Okay? So examples, it's been a while. It's been a long time, remember? What have you been up to? What have you been doing? And you can say, I've been working a lot, but I'm planning a holiday, or I've been on holiday myself, or I've been working hard, but I'm going on holiday next year. So you'll get a chance to be able to put your little sentences together. But generally it just means what have you been doing from the past up until now. Again, so we're using this present perfect again. So what have you been doing? Present perfect continuous actually, what we've been working on. What have you been doing, what have you been working on, what have you been up to? This is present perfect simple. Okay, so the final one for this section in the context is how's everything at your end? So how is everything at your end? And this is something that you'll probably use when you're on the phone or when you are meeting somebody talking about their work or something they're doing. But I would say that you would use this on the phone or you'd use this on an email because you're not in the same place. And you're basically saying, how is everything where you are? Okay, so in your situation, which is opposite to mine, okay? So how's everything at your end is how are things going on your part of the project or on your part of our deal. Usually they're related to you work-wise or they're related to you in what they're doing if it's not work. But it's definitely related in some way, but it's different. It's like their part of it, their responsibility is different to yours. All right? So how's everything at your end? I hope everything's going smoothly at your end is another way of saying it. Yes, all good here, thanks. Or we're trying hard and things are going okay, or it's a bit difficult. I mean, there are many different ways you can say this, but a nice polite way to just agree and say everything is good is say, yep, all good here, thanks. And it's nice, it's polite, and it's very natural sounding. So you can learn these and you can use them. So just before I give you a few alternatives in which ways you can respond, remember that you can get all this information on the I above there. You can also take the quiz to make sure that you've understood what we've been looking at today. And it's really important to kind of go through the video and then do that, take the quiz and see what went in. And if you need to watch again, you can watch again, you can take it again as many times as you need. So let's just go through these and I'll then give you some more vocab that you can practice as well, which will also be in the quiz. So, how to respond to what we've been looking at. We have gone through some of these, so you'll recognize them when you do watch the video again, or you might even remember them. So, but they're just ways of kind of responding to the things we've been looking at today. So you can say, I'm doing well, thanks for asking, not too bad, remember I said, how are you, or how about you? Remember, this is how you can put it back to that other person. Remember we said that? Things are going great. So we have this A sound. Things are going great, thank you, or thanks. You can say thanks if you want, depends, it's up to you. But this is, remember, this is alternative to this, so you can't use both. You can't say thanks you, it doesn't work. Busy, but good. That's a nice way to say something. People like to say this because it makes them feel like they're kind of getting things done and everything's great. How's everything with you? So again, you're putting it back to the person that's talking to you. It's nice and polite. So I've shown you some informal ways and I've shown you some formal ways to replace how are you. And these are great. These are really useful for you to use. Watch the video again, practice. You can do these quizzes like we said, but also you can take this test to make sure you can work out what your English level is. So this is a really useful test and it will be here on the screen in a few seconds. So what I'd like you to do is try these things, go over the video again, use these things in real life. That's what you need to do. Then practice, make mistakes, it's fine. We'll see you next time.